Hi everyone, TARDIS Guy 123 here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Dominators. Now this is a second Doctor story featuring the second Doctor, Jamie and Zoe, and it is the first story of Season 6, so this is Patrick Troughton's final season as the Doctor. So it's nearing the end of his run, and Season 6 was much more experimental with Toby. It kind of like went back to Season 1 and 2 in a way, kind of like the early Hartnell years, whereas Season 5 have very much been stuck in that rut of Base Under Siege, which, I say stuck in a rut in an affectionate way, as that really was some brilliant Doctor Who stories there. Some not so brilliant, but most of them were very good, very strong in their style and whatnot, and kind of like very much the definitive Patrick Troughton experience for a lot of people. However, when it got to Season 6, it started shaking things up a bit, a different style of story. And this was one of those. It's not a Base Under Siege story by any means. It's very different and very fresh, I guess, if you're watching it in order. Maybe not so much if you're watching it out of order. But anyway, let's dive right in to the Dominators. So here you go. You've got BBC DVD up there. Doctor Who, Dominators, Patrick Troughton years. It's got quite a nice cover here with the second Doctor there. Dominator spaceship, Dominators, and then the Quarks here. And there's some interesting behind-the-scenes stories about this serial. So here's the side. Very much a bland banner deck. It's mostly just black with a little bit of other stuff going on. And then on the back here, special features and the story itself by Norman Ashby, apparently, but it actually isn't. I can't remember the two writers' name. I think it's Mervyn Hainsman and I can't remember the other one. But basically, they're the same writers who also wrote The Web of Fear and the Abominable Snowmen, and they very much this was their third. And it got cut down by an episode, so it was originally going to be 6 parts, now it's only 5, and there was some problems with the Quarks and whatnot, and eventually there was a big row with the BBC, and they ended up not writing for Doctor Who ever again, which meant the cancellation of another story which they were going to do, the third Yeti serial, which was Laird of the McCrimmon, which was originally intended to be Jamie's last story. But let's not talk too much about that. Let's talk about the Dominators, and special features wise, you have commentary down there, and Recharge and Equalise, which goes much more in depth about the behind the scenes problems than I just did. And Tomorrow's Time, second Doctor. I quite like the Tomorrow's Time series, it's quite interesting. And you've also got a couple of other ones down there. So let's have a look on the inside now. Here we go. Just one disc on this one, and here's your little booklet inside. There's that. Commentary stuff and special features, and on the back here you have chapter points. And as I said before, it's only 5 episodes, which I think is actually quite a good length for Doctor Who stories. I think obviously it depends on the story itself, because some stories work better as 2 parts or 3 parts or whatever, and some work better as 10 parts even. But for the most part, I think 5 episodes works quite well, as 4-parters tend to be a bit short in my opinion, and 6-parters do tend to have a bit of padding there. However, there were only 5-parters in 3 5-parters in Doctor Who's history. This, the Mind Robber, and the Demons. But only the Demons was originally intended as a 5-parter, because this was going to originally be a 6, then was cut down to 5 parts. Mind Robber, which originally intended to be 4 parts, but had to be boosted up to 5 parts to accommodate the episode that was lost when this was cut down. So, just an interesting bit of trivia there. But anyway, the Dominators itself, as a story, it has rather a poor reputation, I will say. Some people absolutely hate it, they find it deathly dull. Me, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I really do enjoy this story. I can't exactly say why too much, but I just enjoy it for some reason. I don't find it dull at all. And actually, I prefer this to the Mind Robber, and I prefer it to the Ice Warriors as well. I just find it fun, to be honest, and admittedly, it does have its problems. I can see its flaws. It's by no means a perfect story, but it is just a great deal of fun for me. You know, Patrick Troughton is great in this. He really does excel, like he does in every story he's in. But, you know, he's having a lot of fun in this, you can tell. And it's just a great story for the second Doctor. Jamie is written very well in this. He's given quite a bit to do, especially kind of like fighting the Quarks and whatnot, and kind of embracing that Highland instinct, because it is very much written for his character, because these writers have written for him twice before. Zoe, they haven't written for before, and you can kind of tell that she's not underwritten, I'd say, but not kind of like written specially for her character. It could fairly easily be swapped out for Victoria, I guess, you know, a couple of line changes, but, you know, for the most part it works quite well for her in this story, and, you know, you kind of like imagine her on her own much more than Victoria, I would say. She is on her own, well, not on her own, but she's without the Doctor and Jamie for a bit of this story, and that's something that Victoria didn't cope as well with, but Zoe copes quite well with, and she's very different to Victoria. And, you know, I think this story, while it could have been changed fairly easily, for the most part, it goes much better with Zoe than it does with Victoria, I would say. And then you have these two characters here, the Dominators, and there's a lot of conflict going on between them, and, you know, that is, some people find it repetitive and dull. They just think, oh come on, it's just padding, but, you know, it makes them feel like actual characters, and they are quite interesting characters at that. And, you know, well, admittedly they're nothing kind of like amazing, they don't go down in Doctor Who history at all, but, you know, they're still quite interesting in kind of like their power struggle. Is quite enjoyable when you see it kind of like building up over the episodes. Admittedly, I would like it to have come to more of a head than it actually did. Maybe there should have been a third Dominator or something, I don't know, just to kind of like have one of them meet a gruesome fate or something, just to kind of like show the power struggle there a bit more, rather than what it was. But, you know, ultimately, I think that side of the story holds up quite well. The side of the story that doesn't hold up quite well is the whole scenes with the Dulcian capital and whatnot, and the leaders, and they are quite boring. I would say they're the most boring part of this story. When the other characters are there, they kind of like get some comedy out of it, like Jamie, obviously being a Highlander and whatnot. You know, not a savage like Leela, but, you know, he's much more willing to embrace fighting and whatnot, whereas the Dulcians kind of like don't know war or anything. There's no war on their planet, and, you know, that kind of idea worked quite well. And also the whole idea of the Dulcians being peaceful and kind of like satiring the whole peace movement of the 60s, which, you know, very much inspired this story. I think it's a fairly interesting one, but when you get to execution and kind of like drama, it does kind of fall a bit flat. And speaking of falling a bit flat, we have to talk about the Quarks, who are, you know, they're kind of like built up to be this something that could challenge the Daleks, because it's at that time when BBC can no longer use the Daleks in Doctor Who, because Terry Nation took them away, tried to spin them off in America, and, you know, they're looking for something that has the same merchandising potential, and the Quarks, they thought, were the obvious candidate for that. However, you know, it just screams that that's what they were trying to do, and they don't serve much purpose beyond that. They're quite cute, I guess, as monsters go, and they haven't really got any dynamic to them at all, but yeah, I guess cute is the best way to describe them, to be honest. So yeah, the Dominators, it's got quite a bad reputation, I will say, but I honestly do enjoy it. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I just really enjoy watching this story, and as I said before, would much rather watch this than the Mind Robber or the Ice Warriors. So yeah, those are my basic thoughts on the Dominators. As for a rating, oh gosh, I've got to go 8 out of 10 for this, because it's not perfect. The Dulcians aren't the best, but overall it's just a lot of fun for me. And would it work as a 6-parter? Probably not. I would say 6 parts, as I said before, can often be a bit too long, and it would just feel like there'd be an episode worth of padding. But without that, there's a little bit of padding in there. But overall, it just flows very, very nicely. There's not too much padding in this, and I think 5 parts works very well for the Dominators. So yeah, 8 out of 10 from me. And also, one other thing I'd like to mention is that towards the end of July, from the week to the 20th to the 24th, it's kind of like those 5 weekdays, Monday to Friday, is on my channel Big Finish Week. What does that all mean? Well, you'll have to find out later. But basically, I would like people to help contribute to that. And I won't reveal too many details as to how, but basically what I will say is that if you're interested in contributing, basically what you would need is Skype and just, you know, a video recorder, so you can record a quick video with. I won't say too much about all of that, but basically, if you want to help contribute to Big Finish Week, running from the 20th to the 24th of July, then that would be greatly appreciated, and I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that for now. But overall, the Dominators, great story in my opinion. Would I recommend getting it? I'd recommend trying it, I guess. Yeah, Doctor Who DVDs aren't going for too much at the moment. They're about £6. So yeah, I'd say get the Dominators. Maybe not if kind of like you're just about to journey in. But if you kind of like got quite a few DVDs at this point, you know, your collection's growing, then yes, I would say check this out. So yeah, thank you for watching this review, everyone. Please comment down below your thoughts on this story, and also if you would like to help contribute to Big Finish Week. And that's all I've got to say on this. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.